Well, hello, everybody. Can you hear that airplane going over top? We have a military base that's not that far from us. And all day long today, they have been just zooming back and forth. And it's like, because you see the airplane or you hear the sound before, it's not the same time. Charmaine, we are on. Hello, how are you, girl? So, welcome. You're here, Doug's here, Brian's here, and we have a new member. It popped up, new member today, Norma Buckley. So, I hope she pops on today. So, that will be exciting. And oh, look at here, Sherry is here too. Hello, how are ya? Sherry at Southern Roots is doing this collaboration on making candy this month. And so that's fun because it's always good when you're having the holidays to learn a new way to make some candy for the holidays. So that is fun. And Ann is here. Hello, Ann. How are ya? And the Angie girl is here. How cold is it up there, Ange? You'll have to tell us. With the wind chill, is it zero? Is it below zero? Henry Leslie, Vermont. Hello. And Jeannie is here too. Everybody's just popping in. That is awesome. And do we have a theme tonight? We do have a theme. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. I love that song. But it is. But look like I got Christmas trees that I've been making. I did a video this morning. Well, it popped up this morning. I actually did it last night. And because I live in a tiny place. I think it's probably, 800 square feet total, something like that. I don't know. Has a patio, of course, but it's small. And so in our living room with the dog kennels, I don't really have a room for a big tree. So I decided this year I was going to make a whole bunch of different Christmas trees, plus my quilted Christmas tree. And if you look up there, there's another painted one, but I haven't finished my other canvas one. And Donna's here. Annette here. Hello, how are ya? Angie says that it's 11 degrees, feels like 1. As Angie would say, gross. Lena, hello from California. I was in California today because my P.O. box is in Winterhaven, just right across the border. You go over the bridge, over the Colorado, go maybe a mile and a half, and Winterhaven is right there. But it's not busy like the Yuma post office. And so I'm always excited about that it's so fast. Every time I've been to the big post office in Yuma, I'm waiting there 20 minutes, a half hour. There's 30 people in front of me. So I'm totally excited about going to Winterhaven all the time. Plus, the people there are so nice. Angie says, that's what I get for moving to Southern Canada. Now, Angie lives in North Dakota, but she does call it Southern Canada, which is awesome because it has been cold there. I'm always checking, and it's always cold. Cheryl, hello. Hey, did you see that you won the Christmas tree on my other channel? And I need a physical address for you. So if you can get that to me, if you can email me that. This minute, let me go to a banner. I think I have a banner that's got my email right there. So if you will email me your physical address, I will mail you that Christmas tree. In fact, it's right here. This is the one she won. So I've mailed that one out. So if you will shoot me an email, I will do it. Oh, she says, I did sent you an email. Huh, can you send it again? I'll look in the spam part. So maybe it went to the spam and that's why I didn't see it. Because I hadn't mailed it out to you. And so send it to me one more time. Okay. And Doug says, hear that, Brian? Sandi goes to another state to get the post office and she still gets there. Doug is giving Brian a bad time about mailing stuff to him. And Ann Dale is here. Hello, my very good friend. How are you? So, but Cheryl, send me another email. And Liz is here too. The Mixing Bowl Homestead. Now, doesn't that sound fun? Seriously. It's like, what good stuff is she making in her kitchen? I love that. And Julie is here. Got the computer to reboot. At over 10 years old, it's probably time to get a new one. Probably. You'll be so surprised how fast it is when you get a different one. Oh, you sent it to the Fuse Glass. I will look in that one, okay? Because on my little banners, I don't have the Fuse Glass email up. So I will look at that. And it's probably just in the trash, because sometimes it's like, why is that in my trash mail? Or it goes to the spam mail and it's not supposed to go to the spam mail. But I will mail that out to you tomorrow. Awesome. And Carol's here. Hey, Carol, how are you? Jake is here. How are you, Jake? Are those girls so excited about Christmas? I'm sure they are. And Barb is here. Barb's Country Home. Barb has some very cool things going on her channel, so make sure you check her out too. So, let me go back, take my banner off, and we are talking about it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Liz says, we are the Mixing Bowl, my dear. My hubby is from Nicaragua, and I'm from Panama. Kids born in America. Oh, I get it. That is so cool. Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. So thanks for telling this, but I love the title. So I will go over and check you guys out. It's so fun. And Julie's making gingerbread cookies tomorrow. So good. I have to make cookies this year. I have 2 different things that you have to bring cookies. They're exchanges. One's an exchange. You bring 2 dozen cookies. You go home with 2 dozen different kind of cookies. And then the other one is, it's like a meeting, an art meeting, but they always have at Christmas time a little Christmas party. So we're supposed to bring cookies. So I am making 3-dimensional Christmas trees. And I've made them lots and lots of times. They're just so delicious. It's really like a sugar butter cookie. So it's very soft. It's just great. Doug is saying bah humbug at Christmas. Doug, I cannot believe it. I seriously can't. Finally made your vanilla extract. Can't wait to try it out. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. So what do you guys do for your Christmas? Tomorrow morning, I'm actually going to a neighbor of mine. She lives down around the corner, and she knows a gal who is a professional Christmas tree decorator. And she invited me to come because the gal is coming to her house and she's going to decorate her Christmas tree. And so we get to see the whole process. She's going to tell us how she chooses themes for Christmas and colors. And I guess in her house, she usually has 5 or more Christmas trees. And so she's going to teach us all about that. And right now, I don't have a Christmas tree. I mean, last year I put up a little teeny, it was probably 3 feet tall Christmas tree. But that's not always going to be the case. And so I thought, what a great thing to learn how professional people do their Christmas trees up. Their tricks and all that stuff. And so I thought, I bet you there's a lot of things that people do, and you guys on the chat, for Christmas. You're getting ready for Christmas. What are you doing? Not just Christmas trees. Do you put wreaths inside, outside? Do you decorate outside? We have lights on our patio all the time. And I'm kind of thinking that maybe I need some lights to go around the outside because all of our lights are inside the patio covering. So I'm thinking that I need to step it up a notch. Doug says he's cutting out sugar, having withdrawals. Doug, you should have thought this through a little bit more and started after the new year. So you could have had some sugar cookies. I could have mailed you some Christmas trees and you could have had them, but now I can't do it because you're not having sugar. Angie is doing a beer advent calendar. They are all German beers. On day 5, they are so good. So she's on day 5 because today is December 5th. She's so funny. Doug is being a humbug because he says he's hung stockings full of coal. Now, I know Shelly is a good girl, and so she shouldn't be getting any coal. So, now, right here, Nightbot is showing our members. But I want to say, Homesteading Northern Michigan was his birthday on the 1st of December. So Jason had a birthday. I put it up on the community tab, and so happy birthday. And today, if Tony Oliver comes in, now because he lives in Scotland, so it's in the middle of the night, but every so often he pops in, and it is his birthday today. So Tony, happy birthday also. And Ann says, oh my goodness, no sugar for Christmas. Good luck, Doug. I think it would be very hard, seriously hard to do. Now, Doug put in channel. If you guys have your own channel, if you have your own YouTube channel, all you have to do is type channel in the box and see how Nightbot pulled up Doug's channel. It makes it much easier. So if you have admins, they don't have to type people as they come in. People can just write channel and it'll pop up there. Angie says, I don't decorate for Christmas. Don't like Christmas decorations. Oh, humbug. That's what I say, humbug. There's a new movie out. Well, it's at the movie theaters right now. It's called Spirited. It's a modern day Scrooge, Dickens, from Dickens. And I watched it on BTV. It's a musical, and it's kind of fun and interesting and silly and different, and I think I enjoyed it. It's not your regular Christmas movie, but I liked it, and I thought it was kind of fun. And Doug says we haven't put up any outside decorations for the last 18 years. See, it just depends on what you want to do. Some people go full board, lights everywhere. We have a contest in the village down here in Arizona, and I think it's the 23rd they pick, and you can win prizes for the best light decorations at your house. But we also they do caroling. They have trailers hooked onto the backs of golf carts because it's Yuma, Arizona. And they carol, and then people decorate their golf carts with lights, and there's flashing, and there's all this stuff. And they decorate bicycles. So I'm going to decorate my bicycle because you can have battery powered lights. And afterwards, it's hot chocolate and prizes and just fun stuff. And I know it's totally silly, but it's kind of fun. And why not be fun at Christmas? And see how it's going to pop up. Henry and Leslie Vermont put channel it, and it pops up. I just find technology fabulous. And I have been doing on my Fused Glass channel 12 paintings of Christmas. And the one that goes up tomorrow is on bells. There's 3 Christmas bells. And then the next one is my favorite one. It's got a barn. It's snowy. There's hills. It reminds me of back home. And each time, so I do the original painting, and then I paint it on the video, and then I give that one away. And that's how Cheryl won this. And so it's just so much fun. Totally. Doug says he has his Christmas lights in his cubicle at work. They are LED and change colors. That is awesome. Liz says we didn't decorate since 2010. We give the decoration money to the homeless shelter every year. We were once temporarily homeless. That is amazing. That is so kind of you to do that, to help somebody else. Very, very cool. Doug says it's very, very cool too. It is. There's been different years that my mom and dad have said, okay, we're not doing presents this year. Now they have they have children, they have grandchildren, they have great-grandchildren, and they have great-great-grandchildren. And they all the money they would have spent, they take it to organizations like Samaritan's First, and they've bought chickens for people, or a cow for a village, or a well, something they've used that money for. And so I think that's very cool, you know. And the older everybody gets, the less and less presents we do, because everybody has stuff. I mean, it's still kind of fun just to open something little, you know. I have to admit it. I think it's fun to do it. But I don't really have to have presents. Joe's always going, what do you want for Christmas? I don't know. And so I always find something very practical that I can use through the rest of the year, because I would rather have that than something that I just wouldn't do. We put electric candles in the window. I like that. I've seen houses and you're driving down the road, and in the windows, they have those candles that light up, and it looks very warm and inviting. And I think that's just very cool. And says that they're doing less and less. People just have way too much stuff. The holiday baking competition is playing on TV. See, Doug, it's going to be tough. You're going to don't watch those cooking shows, those holiday things, or any Christmas movies, because they always have cookies. Doug, it's going to be tough. My cousin Dennis, about a year ago, he stopped eating sugar. And I think he lost like 50 pounds. And that's that's how he changed it. He just didn't eat sugar. Could I do that? I probably could, but I don't want to. Oh, Doug says they put pigs in the freezer for Thanksgiving. So funny. I don't eat pork, but Doug, and they showed the whole process of doing their pigs. It was really interesting. So, but he knows I don't eat anything pork. So, our neighbor decorates her house with candles. Simple, but so beautiful. I agree. Anne says, we give our grown children meat packages from the local meat market and trinkets for the grants. I think that's a great idea. You know, seriously, a great idea. Because they will use it. Because really, when you look back on all the presents that you had when you're growing up, which ones do you ever really remember? And, oh, thanks, Liz. She put channel, and then it popped up her channel. So that is awesome. Now, when I look back at all the presents that I got, and I remember Christmases, I remember my one grandmother was very poor when she was growing up, and when my mom and her siblings were young. I mean, really poor. And so when she was older and she had much more money, she just went crazy for Christmas. I mean, there were so many presents. But I honestly have to say, the presents I remember when I was growing up are my socks from my Aunt Grace. You know, we used to say, oh, Aunt Grace is going to give us socks. But we always looked forward to those new pairs of socks. And I like giving socks. It must be something, And Hendrickson Family Farm is here. Hello there. How are ya? And it's interesting. Of all the childhood presents you had, what do you remember the most? What was the most impactful present that you got? Angie says, Erin is going to put a spout in the honey bucket tomorrow so I can finish bottling the last 15 gallons of honey. Then I will send out some for Christmas. Now, Angie got a bunch of honey, and she has been making habanero honey. And Joe is just like so excited about getting it. It's just like, Joe likes honey, and he likes it when I make garlic honey, and he puts it on his fried potatoes and some meat and different things. But he is totally stoked about getting habanero honey. So, Ange, he's excited. And Doug says, all I want for Christmas is my 2 front teeth. Doug, I'd like you to pop on and sing that for us. That's what I'd like. Now, Joe has something he wants for Christmas. And we've been bowling every Thursday with a group of people down here. And last week I had good games last week. In fact, one of them was 185. It was just like, whoa. But Joe needs a new pair of bowling shoes. And so I'm going to have him pick them out, and that's what I'm getting him for Christmas. It's very useful. I think he's had those shoes, I bet you, for 25 years or more. Seriously, I think he probably has had them that long. Now, it's not like bowling shoes wear out when you're only doing it sometimes, but it was just interesting that's what when I asked him what he wanted, that's what he wanted to get. We opened an envelope for Christmas 1999 that revealed we were going to have another baby boy. That is a good Christmas to remember. Anne says, I think as a child, it was a wind-up monkey toy from the drugstore. See, isn't that funny how we remember things, certain presents? For my birthday, the most memorable present for my childhood was this little car. It was metal, and I sat in it, and you pedaled it, and you could steer it, and it would go around in circles sometimes. You'd be going down the sidewalk, and all of a sudden it'd go around in circles. It was really fun. Hendrickson Family Farm says it wasn't so much Christmas presents. It was the tradition of breakfast and everything with the family that I tried to do with my kids because we were really poor when I was growing up. That is a great memory. And, when we grew up, we got new things at Christmas time, but we never got new bikes ever. It was always used bikes. It was always, my dad would find things, he'd fix them up, because we only had a certain amount of money. And I think that kind of shapes you and changes you. And it's not just a bad thing. Julie says she waited for the Easy Bake Oven for 2 years until she was old enough. Oh, we had an Easy Bake Oven. So we must have got it at Christmas. Liz says that impactful present I received as a child was a Tonka truck. Yep, I'm a tomboy. That is awesome. Doug had the mumps one year. Oh, and they brought the presents to you in bed. Oh, hey, Sarah, how are ya? See, aren't those fun things to remember? Even though I'm sure it wasn't fun having the mumps. But those are things to remember, and they bring you your presents, and that is so sweet. Our most fun was having a scavenger hunt to find gifts, just little things, but the game is so much fun. Clues placed all over the house. That is fun. Hello, hello. And I was allowed to use the real stove and oven prior to the toy. Isn't that interesting? But easy bake oven, we love those. Slide that little pan in there, it cooks it, and we get to slide it out. So much fun. There is one other thing I remember, a present, and I think my brothers got it. It was this little machine, and it made these edible insects. They were like gummies, and it was like an easy bake oven thing, only it was for boys. And it made, because I remember snakes and bugs and spiders, and they were all like these gummies, and we could eat them. I love that. We always got that too. The little book of lifesavers. Always, every single Christmas. That was fun. The poorest moments, Christmas or not, were the best memories. Now, when my kids were young, sometimes they had this habit of opening presents when they weren't supposed to open presents, and then they wrap them back up. So one year I started putting numbers on all the presents, and I had this little notebook, and it would be Angie has number this, 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 and this. Stephen has numbers this, this, this. And so they didn't open them up because they didn't know if it was their present or not their present. So I fixed them. The little wooden homemade toys from my dad. Awesome. That is so sweet. Liz says, thank you for helping me remember my childhood. Tomorrow is 6 years since my mom passed. Oh, my condolences. I'm so sorry. That's a tough time at the holidays. I needed to be here today. Yeah, just soak in all those memories from your mom. It is just, I remember my mom being in her bedroom and wrapping presents, and sometimes we could help and sometimes we couldn't, depending on who's she was wrapping. And then my grandmother, my aunt, my mom, every year would make chocolate covered cherries. They'd make fudge. They'd make all kinds of cookies. And my Aunt Grace always made these mincemeat cookies. Now you might say, ooh, that sounds yucky. But it wasn't. It was this really soft cookie, a little bit of mincemeat that she made, and then another little cookie on top. They were amazing. And it was just like, oh yeah, I love that. I mean, seriously, I love that. Angie says she remembers the numbers. And Anne says, I remember visiting Eastern Germany just after the wall fell. Their Christmas treat present was an orange. They could not get any otherwise. It makes you feel very blessed. That's true. You see those old movies and like the Waltons Christmas, and they get an orange. And I just find that I think when you have less, especially at the holidays, you appreciate everything so much more than you do otherwise. I think sometimes today we do a disservice to our kids because we have much more expendable income. And so we can spend more money. And so it's interesting, and good, bad, time will tell, I guess. Charmaine says, my mom left our stuff unwrapped at Christmas. We got one thing. That is awesome. My grandma Reichert, not my, like my aunt gave us socks. My other grandmother, she went crazy at Christmas. But my grandma Reichert lived on a farm. She didn't have much money. And we all got individual Christmas cards. And there was always $1 in there. And it was a lot. Actually, if you think about it, it was a lot of money for her to give all the kids, grandkids, great grandkids, that when she basically lived on Social Security and the money she made from selling her eggs. And she had a farm. My grandfather had passed away, and she had a farm. She rented out. A guy did alfalfa, so she probably made a little money on that. But it's interesting. I always, because we always knew we would get it. And then when we got in high school, I think we got $2. So it was crazy. I should be canning right now. I'm not. Decided to sit down and talk with people on lives instead. So much fun. Also, Charmaine's mom would put those out on Christmas Eve. So did you not get to see them till Christmas morning, though? See, that is fun. My dad was a fireman, and so they worked shifts that were 24 hours. So depending on when he was working, sometimes we opened presents on Christmas Eve, and sometimes we opened them on Christmas Day. It just depended what his schedule was, so that we would do it all together. And it was torture when we had to wait till Christmas morning. Anne says that she has opened a present or two and rewrapped them. See, the truth is coming out, Anne. One year I found where the gifts were hidden and got the video games out and played them and then put them back. Completely ruined Christmas that year. That is awesome. One time, my sister and her best friend were over at the best friend's house. And they decided that they should probably open every single present under the tree. And then they thought they could rewrap them and nobody would notice. Busted. They noticed. So it's just, but fun memories. And in fact, sitting here talking about those memories, I can picture both of my grandmothers and my aunt. And it is just like heartwarming, it makes me feel good, There was one unwrapped gift to keep us occupied until my parents got up. That is a good idea. We would get to unwrap one present on Christmas Eve. We've done that before. Like when my dad was working on Christmas Eve and we weren't going to open everything until the morning. Sometimes my mom would let us open one present before that. Oh, so Santa would bring them after you went to bed. And so then when you got up in the morning, you'd have your gift. That is so sweet. We were always woken up right at midnight. Count seeds and grapes, drink my mom's homemade eggnog, and then open our presents. I love that tradition. That is so fun. We used to, when we were little, we always had grapes that had seeds in them too. And good memories. Seriously, good memories. I love it. Now, if I haven't said hi to you, make sure that you put another comment because I might have missed you as I'm scrolling through. Doug says that when we were little, the tree wasn't decorated. But when we got up on Christmas morning, the tree was decorated and the presents under it. How fun is that? So it was very magical. That Christmas. Now, a lot of people will put up their tree right after Thanksgiving. And we did that lots of times when the kids were growing up. My mom would do that. My grandma would do that. And it kind of gets you in that holiday spirit. Now, when we were little, there was no such thing as Black Friday. So you didn't have to rush out to the store to, so you always had that time after Thanksgiving. And a lot of times people were off because that Friday was a long weekend. And we would just decorate. And we all had our own stockings. And sometimes we would switch stockings, or we would make stockings at school. And we'd bring those, and we wanted those on because my mom and dad had this big fireplace, and we would hook it on the bricks. And it was just really fun. Doug says that they were really busy. um, it is a busy time. And then if it snowed, we used to go to what it was called Michael's Hill, because Dr. Michael's owned the house and the great big hill. And I mean, everybody went. And we would go, people would bring toboggans, and they'd bring great big inner tubes and saucer sleds. And sometimes Mrs. Michael would have hot chocolate for us. Otherwise, we would have hot chocolate when we would go home. And it was just so fun. And I think it's good to make memories, not just when you have your kids, because we have seasons in our lives, right? So your first season, you're just a newlywed couple, and you have memories you decide to do at Christmas and the holidays. Then you have kids, and that changes, and you have these traditions that start with the kids and the things that you do. And then later on, you're empty nesters, and you have to do it again, and you have to decide, because by then, not all your kids might live, they don't live with you or by you anymore. And so what are you going to do with, and what traditions are you going to make? And Madeline is in here. My favorite was getting a box from Montana from my relatives. My grandfather always put silver dollars in the box for us too. That is amazing. Now, the question is, Madeline, do you still have those silver dollars? Because if you did, they'd be worth lots more money than they were then. My son will be 40 on the 19th. Wasn't I just 40? Oh man, I can understand that. It's like Angie just had her birthday in October, and it's like, what? How is this possible? It's just like, it just goes so fast. And, like my dad is 91, and how is it that he's 91? I remember when I was little, and, he was in his 30s and 40s, and Auntie's so funny. It's just like, how is that possible? And then in a blink of the eye, I will be 91 like my dad. And it's just like, I need memories. I need stories. I always tell everybody that I love stories. So I'll meet somebody new, and we'll be talking, and eventually they're telling you stories, and you're telling them stories, and it's just like, I love stories. Everybody has them. Sometimes people think that they don't have any good stories. Everybody has stories. And you'll be surprised at the stories and how it makes people think and remind them of things. Madeline says, my dad was a coin collector, so he traded us a paper dollar. He said we could spend that one. He was right. You should always save those silver dollars. That's right. Angie says, in a blink, you will be 126. That's true. It's just going to zoom by. And the older you get, the faster it goes. You don't think it does. Remember those summers? And you were 10 years old, and the summer seemed to last forever. It doesn't happen that way when you're 64. Hey girl, how are ya? Nice for you to stop in. Reminder, the Vineyard Chicks are live right now too. So make sure you go over there and see them, because I am about to go, because I usually have my lives at just 30 minutes, and I'm already like 10 minutes over. You're old when people you've known since you were in buns in the oven are having kids of their own. I know it. It's just craziness. When you become great grandparents, you know that you have arrived. But everybody, I am going to let you go. I hope you have a great night. I am painting bells on my other channel tomorrow, and so I hope you check out that. And I hope you have a fabulous day. Julie says there's a house 15 minutes from me that my great-grandfather built. He died decades before I was born. What great memories. Oh, look who's here too. Hey, Steph girl. How are ya? Steph, I'm leaving. It was so nice of you to stop in, though. I'm going to give you a call. I can't tonight, but this week I will give you a call, okay? Everybody have a great week. Ann Dale has a live tomorrow morning, I do believe. I think, Ann, it's 9 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, so 11 o'clock your time. Write that in the chat if I am correct on that. Doug, you are the best. Tell Shelly that I said hi. And everybody, I will see you in the videos this week. Bye, everybody.